From the bold voices of the 1970s to modern day chart toppers, women in hip hop have been a driving force in the genre, and just helped elevate it in its last 50 years. Now, welcome to From the Streets to the Charts, the podcast where we uncover the stories behind the music that have shaped our world. I go by the name of Conway, aka Talk to Him Con, and today we're celebrating 50 years of hip hop by highlighting the trailblazing women who've left the inedible, mark on the genre. From the 70s to today, these artists have challenged the norms, they broke barriers and created timeless music. So let's get directly into it right now. We're going to take you back to 1970, man, where hip hop was born at block parties in the Bronx. And amongst those block parties was the first female MC to grace the mic, and her name was Shy Rock. She was also a member of the Funky 4+1, known as the mother of the mic. She was pivotal into bringing women into the male-dominated scene and setting the stage for the future of, female MCs. Just a little history on Miss Shy Rock, man. Her name is Sharon Green, known professionally as MC Shy Rock, and is widely recognized as the first female MC in hip-hop. Born in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1962, then she moved to the South Bronx, where she became a B-girl, which is a break dancer, and then she immersed herself in the culture in 1976 in the South Bronx, putting dope lyrics down to, tracks. Now, Shy Rock's pioneering role was solidified as a member of, like I said, the Funky 4+1, and being one of the earliest hip-hop groups to gain prominence in this culture. The group achieved significant milestones throughout the 70s. In 1979, they had a hit called Rapping and Rocking the House. Then they followed that up with That's the Joint. And then in 1981, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, man, the Funky 4+1 became the first hip-hop group to perform on national television. And they appeared on SNL, Saturday Night Live. So it was big for them, and they did their thing, man. And, beyond her musical contributions, Shy Rock has been acknowledged for her role in shaping hip-hop culture. Even in 2010, she published a book detailing her experiences, entitled it The Story of the Beginning and End of the First Female Hip-Hop MC. And her legacy continues to inspire as she remains a symbol of empowerment for women in the hip-hop industry. And I just want to give my big claps, give my big 1-2s to Miss Shy Rock, man, Miss Green, because coming up in this culture and having a lot of aunts and grandmother, mother, and things like that, she was one of the people that they would talk about who they liked as well, outside of a couple of the next females that we will talk about. But let's fast forward to 1980s, where we meet MC Lyte, whose 1988 debut album, Light as a Rock, was a game changer, man. Her hit single, Paper Thin, showcased her lyrical skill and sharp storytelling. She became the first female rapper to release a full solo album, proving that women could, command respect in a genre, and, you know, because they were excluded from the genre. No matter how we want to put we love MC Lyte today, but it was almost like segregation for her. We excluded her from, not saying we, but, you know, she was excluded from hip hop. And a lot of men hated on her because they didn't want her to, take over. Because she, like I said, she was actually nice. She was actually nice. Now you have, can't forget Miss Roxanne Shante, man. And, we all know her for her fame of being one of those gritty females that went out there and battled men, you know, at these rap battles, and she, that diss track, Roxanne's Revenge, at the age of 14, showed how sharp Shantae's lyricism and feisty delivery made her one of the first female rap stars. Now we have MC Shy Rock, who was, the first female, and, she put on and she did, she put on like she was supposed to. But Roxanne Shante actually became like the first female star because the streets loved how gritty she was. The streets loved how she commanded the crowd in front of these men. And she did that not by herself, but, we would say she did it by herself. Then you had the duo, Salt-N-Pepa, in the late 80s, consisted of Cheryl Salt James and Sandra Pepper Denton, and became a trailblazing with hits like Push It, My Mic Sounds Nice, Check. That I remember being at a block party that we had, and Push It was being boomed through the speakers, man. Those, I know y'all can relate because, block parties at one point in time were fun. You made it home. No one died, right? And so I know a lot of y'all can relate to it, and like Push It, My Nike Sounds Nice. And then we have, like I said, like, of course, with MC Lyte. Um Light is anyway. But then we had like things like The Sequence, you know, that was in the early 80s as well. One of the first all female rap groups. Now, The Sequence featured Angie B, which later became Angie Stone, Blondie, and Cheryl the Pearl. Cheryl the Pearl gained recognition with Funk You Up in 1979, right? But they really, even though it was 1979, that was still classified as the 80s, and that music bridged that funk and hip hop. Then also in the 80s, in the late 80s, but we can also give her also in my next category of the 90s, but Queen Latifah, although her rise of fame, like I said, started in the 90s, Queen Latifah started her career in the late 80s, with her 1989 album, All Hail the Queen, which featured the empowering anthem, Ladies First. Queen Latifah, to me, will always be one of the best female artists for that made me want to hear what female artists were talking about, because she actually was saying something other than what they talk about now, right? And a lot of the artists, female artists back then, weren't talking about what they talk about now. So, but Queen Latifah definitely is one of my goats. Um, she definitely was nasty on a pen, man. With the pen, she was nasty. Her clip stayed ready back in the day, man. Then we had JJ Fad. A lot of us know them for Supersonic. That was another song at the block parties that came out of those big, 7-foot speakers that was put on the street, one side of the street corner, then put on the other side of the street corner, and then you had that DJ there, man. I actually miss these days because it was fun. The neighborhood loved each other. The neighborhood didn't let nobody come into the neighborhood and destroy the neighborhood. We actually stuck together back then, man. Um, then Lady B. A lot of y'all might not know Lady B. Now, Lady B is a pioneer of hip hop. She was one of the first female rappers to record a rap single with her 1979 track To the Beat, y'all. Definitely go listen to it. And I put it in the 80s because, like I said, the track bubbled a little bit in 1979, but didn't start actually getting a hit of steam until the 80s and went into like 81, 82, where she was getting still constantly played for that moment. But she later became a prominent DJ promoting hip hop culture. So we definitely gotta respect Lady B because she knew she knew the assignment and she kept the assignment rolling. And that's one of the things we have to do as a culture. Keep it rolling, man. And like I said, the 90s, to me, the 90s, man, were the golden era. It was the golden era for hip hop. It was the golden era for women in hip hop. And like I said, Queen Latifah emerged as a leader and, blending her lyrical skills with, a powerful message and just a powerful message of empowerment, right? Her songs Unity, UNITY, challenged sexism in the industry and became an anthem for respect and, equality. And you also had, let's see, I in the night, like I said, the 90s was crazy for women hip hop, bro. Women hip hop was led by different changes, just different changes. And it was remarkable because the women in the 90s were now getting played by the men. Some of the men that had those booming systems were playing some of these women. Um, you have people like the Brat. She was the first female rapper to achieve a platinum selling album with Funkified in 94. Known for her bold and confident delivery, she stood out as a solo female artist, in a male-dominant industry. And then even hopped on tracks with men that we would say are lyrical and held her own, you know. We also had, emerging in the late 90s, was a female by the name of Missy Elliott. She brought a innovative sound with her 1997 debut album, Super Duper Fly. known for our creative music videos and, just how futuristic production. She became a pioneer of the genre, man. Not only that, she actually she produced songs for some of your biggest artists. She wrote some of R&B and rap songs for some of your biggest artists. So she really, to me, don't get enough credit for who she is. And I think, we need to give her flowers and not wait until she passes, bro. And a lot of us wait until the person passes and then we care about, want to give out the flowers. When we should be giving out the flowers already, regularly. Then we have in 1990. This is why I says the golden era, bro. Like the golden era, and it's remarkable because then you have Lauryn Hill. A lot of people don't like her now because she always late as a mother, right? But Lauryn Hill gained her fame as a member of the Fugees with their iconic, album, The Score. And definitely go check out my other YouTube because I actually have a YouTube that's dedicated just to the Fugees. And she went on to release her Grammy winning solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, in 1998, blending hip hop, soul, and R&B. So we cannot forget Lauryn Hill at all. And one of my favorites we cannot forget because she was raw. She was raw. She was super raw. Eve, man. Although she rose to prominence in, the late 90s as part of Rough Riders, her debut album, Let There Be Eve, Rough Riders' First Lady, in 99 showcased her skills as a rapper and a lyricist, bro. Eve was outstanding. Love is Blind. That song, man, shit. I ain't gonna lie. As a man, I was ready to set that shit off on any man that beat a woman, bro. Let me see. Then, who else? Oh, yeah, can't forget Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Even though she was part of TLC, she definitely was a rapper. She loved rapping. Her verses on Waterfalls and No Scrubs emerged her as one of the figures. And she definitely could have been a lot above her time, Also, we can't forget Yo-Yo. Don't play with my Yo-Yo. Yo. You gotta get it up, right? But Yo-Yo was from that West Coast. She had many collaborations with Ice Cube. She released Black Pearl, 92? And you better ask somebody in 93. And she promoted messages of self-respect and independence as well. That's why I said, man, like a lot of women back in the day definitely had a different respect for themselves outside of today. Because, like I'll get there later. But I'll speak on because it's two women of this genre, bro, that set they set the tone and everything else came after that. But then you have, I can't forget, like Mia X, Lady of Rage, you know, Moni Love, Rod Digger, Heather B. And Moni Love, Rod Digger, Heather B are, to me, always dear to my heart because those females were nasty. They rhymed. They they put it together. Um, and it's almost like they're up there with. Actually, they're up there with Queen Latifah for me. Um, yeah, they're up there with Queen Latifah for me because they actually had something to say. They made it fun. They made it playful. Um, but not only did they make it fun, they made it playful. They also just knew what to do and knew what to say and knew how to, you know, make things right with it. But the ones that I really love to the day of my heart from these 90s, boy, Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. I know you just said, "Oh, you talk about they love, you love how the female artist was respectful." And I understand 1,000%. But Lil Kim, Foxy Brown took a different approach. They owned their sexuality, commanded the attention with bold lyrics and high fashion persona. Right? Their work broke stereotypical, thoughts and gave women a new way to express themselves in a genre. I can say, for me, Brooklyn, love Brooklyn to death. But people wanted that Lil Kim album, boy. People wanted that Lil Kim album, boy. People wanted that shit. People were like going crazy for it. But then Foxy album wasn't bad either. Like, you know, we seen something from these two women. Not only could they deliver bars, they can rap, they can, even though, they like, oh, Jay and Big wrote for both, right? But their performance, their delivery of it was like, damn. And then they were bad. Like, they weren't, you know, they was just a different level, boy. I was a young boy then, don't judge me. But um, as Lil Kim once said, she was a leader, not a follower. She definitely was a leader, bro. In the 90s, she took all that Miss Nice shit and threw it out the window. And a lot of people thought that because of, the Moni Loves, the Queen Latifahs, the Yo-Yos, the MC Lytes, that Lil Kim and Foxy Brown wouldn't be around for a long time. And they shocked the shit out of everybody because they was around for a very, very long time. And she led a whole new wave. Lil Kim led a whole new wave of women who weren't afraid to also push the boundaries. And I know a lot of people want to say, oh, yeah, blah, 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 this and that. But she birthed a lot of the women who weren't afraid and to push these boundaries. She birthed a lot of them. And the one thing that I do, like I had this one track, this one tape on my Walkman as a tape deck. that had Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, and Total. And then after that, it was like they was beefing. Puffy, I, man, I don't know what he did with it, but that shit was bumping, and I'm mad because it popped, because I listened to it so much on a train, on a bus. Like, I really liked them two, bruh. And them two together, like their sounds together, were so Brooklyn. Son. It was so Brooklyn. Son. It was so Brooklyn. It was nasty work. Let's hurry up and get to these 2000s, man. And I'm gonna run this down fast because I really don't fuck with the 2000s like that. Well, but like I said, Missy from that 90s, she became an icon in the 2000s. Became revolutionary force in hip hop. Then 2010, you had the birth of Nicki Minaj. Nicki redefined, consistency, versatility, star power in hip hop with albums like Pink Friday and Pink Print. She became one of the most successful female rappers of all time. Just influencing an entire generation of new artists as well. Then you have, in these recent years, you have Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, who dominated the charts. Cardi B's debut album, Invasion of Privacy, broke records, while Megan's, unapologetic, you know, and unapologetic confidence in tracks like Savage made her icon for empowerment. So they both hand in hand went crazy. Cardi once said, "I'm living the best life," and it's clearly making, sure women in hip hop can do the same. That diversity of women in hip hop today, from Doja Cat to Rhapsody, who focus on lyricism, proves that the genre has room for, all voices and stories. And, you know, just so we don't forget no other people, I'm going to shout them out real quick. Your Trinas, Remy Ma, MIA, who else? I said Doja, Iggy Azalea, Sweetie, the City Girls, Lizzo, Lotto, Fire, Flo Milli, Coi Leray, this off the top of my head, Terry, what's her name? Taria Wack, Ice Spice, Glorilla, love Glorilla, bro. She's another one that could have been back there with Lil Kim and them because she really fucked shit up. Rico Nasty, and can't forget Marva Brooklyn nigga, and Young M.A. and a couple other people, but who else? One more person. And then you gotta peep out this new Brooklyn rapper, um, called Big Boo. Definitely, she's dope as well. But women have been instrumental to hip hop's 50, you know, year journey from the streets to the charts, from Charlotte Rock to MC Lyte to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. These artists have pushed boundaries, challenged norms, and left their mark on hip hop, man. So thanks for tuning in to From the Streets to the Charts. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate and leave your review whenever you get, you know, you know, get a hold of my podcast, man. Follow us on all social medias at TALKTOOEMCON and let us know who's your favorite female hip hop artist is and why. Until next time, keep celebrating the music that moves us all. Peace.